I seen some of you leaving a comment on my Dialyn guide video asking about Perfect Electro. I was going to make a longer video talking about how Dialyn changes builds and things like this, but I'm just going to cut down some of this stuff because I've been working on a bunch of other content that I want to make sure that I'm ready to go over Arknights in the field, for example, this week. I also have a Hugo guide coming up. So just instead of making a longer video, more edited and stuff, I'm just here to give some information for you regarding Perfect Electro and Dialyn. Because the gimmick about Dialyn, by now you probably already know, is that I have access to extra ultimates while playing your Deadly Assault run, your Shiyu, or whatever. If you don't know how Dialyn works, I'm going to leave the Dialyn guide link in the top right corner right now, so you can watch it later. But the TLDR, what you need to keep in mind is that Dialyn gives you one extra ultimate. And Perfect Electro is a disc set that exists since the beginning of the game. This is a 2-piece penetration ratio, which is really good, especially nowadays, because of how much damage buffs you keep getting on every single support, especially when you're stacking with more penetration on your slot 5. Alright, but the thing is about the 4-piece set. The 4-piece set says that it increases your ultimate damage by 20%. Okay, that's just more damage, as I said, but whenever you use your ultimate, you get 15% attack for 12 seconds. Hormone Punk gives 25% attack, but it's only for 10 seconds. And I also mentioned that trying to manage Hormone Punk, I personally don't like it. I never played around Hormone Punk, so in this video, I just want to share my thoughts and also some calculations about Perfect Electro on some attack agents, because I know that some of you love going for the very minimal damage increase. I want to show how much you can get out of it, but I'm also going to talk a little bit about that sometimes it's not just about the damage, you know, the number that you're going to see on a spreadsheet or something. Listen, we both know how important it is when it comes to saving money on these gacha games, and that's where LDShop comes in. LDShop.gg is a top-up platform that offers massive discounts and good prices for a lot of different games, including Zone Zero. All you need is your server and the UID, and you're good to go. You just select what you want to buy, you up everything here, you press top up, and then you're going to get a confirmation detail page. Make sure everything here is correct, because of course you want to get your polychromes and your internet membership, right? You just wait a little bit and your polychromes are going to be delivered to your account that fast. Look at this. And you know there's double top-up bonuses that you get on the first time you buy one of those monochrome packs. LDShop got you covered because they can trigger the double top bonus for you. And the best part is that whenever you spend $80 in a single month, you get a coupon that allows you to get one of those monthly memberships for free, even in an internet membership, as you can see right here. Register your account using my link down the description and you get a 15 and a 5% coupon that allows you to save up to $50. So stop wasting time and start saving money using LDShop. Thanks LDShop for sponsoring this video. Alright, so I did some calculations here for different attackers. Only 3 actually, Evelyn, Hugo, and Yuan. I think that these are pretty popular characters, but the idea and the damage difference is pretty much going to be the same thing on every single attacker, alright? What I want you to focus is on the damage difference itself that I'm going to show right here. And as I said before, sometimes it's not just about numbers. Let's start with Yuan, for example. Yuan, you're going to notice right here that it's a 0.5, around 0.5 difference between all of these options. Hormone Punk, it works really nice on her because she's a burst DPS, you want to deal most of the damage on the stun window, but Perfect is like 0.4, 0.5% damage difference, you see? And at the end of the day, if Dialyn is giving you 2 ultimates on every single stun window, for example, it means that depending on when you're timing your ultimate, your second ultimate could carry over some of the attack buff into outside of the stun window. Meanwhile, Hormone Punk, yes, the attack buff is stronger, but you need to make sure that you're going to front load all of your damage in the 10 seconds that you have. This is the thing that applies to every single one of these, alright? Hormone Punk, you need to play around the cooldown. Puffer, with Dialyn specifically, she pretty much doubles the uptime on your puffer. At the very least, she's going to make consistent enough so that you have it active on every single stun window. The thing is that it just makes it easier for you to play around. You see, I think that this is something really important, and it also depends a little bit on some of the characters, because if you take a look on Hugo, for example, this is assuming the chain attack into the ultimate every single time, alright? Perfect could be even lower than this, because the chain attack is not going to benefit from Perfect Electro, right? But the ultimate itself will. Alright, so you can expect Perfect to actually be a little bit worse than this. Should be around 1.5% damage difference between Hormone Punk and Perfect Electro. But on Hugo specifically, Hormone Punk can be a little bit of a damage loss because it caps out how fast you can stun the enemy because of the cooldown on Hormone Punk. And having Hormone Punk not active on the stun window means that you don't have a 4-piece set. You see this thing right here? Goodbye, it doesn't exist. Alright, so Perfect Electro, on the other hand, you're always going to get it active on the stun window. Because every single time that you use your ultimate with Hugo, you're going to activate Perfect Electro. And this is even better if you have Hugo at Mindscape 2. Because at Mindscape 2, you don't remove the stun effect from the enemy when using your ultimate to trigger Totalize. If you are at Mindscape 0 or Mindscape 1, then your ultimate is going to remove the stun from the enemy. But at Mindscape 2, no, it does not. So basically, if you are in Mindscape 2, you can activate Perfect Electro, you can go for a Hugo chain, you can finish with another EX special, and all of this is going to have the Perfect Electro buff active. I like showcasing Evelyn a little bit because of the same reasoning that a lot of people change into Astral Voice. Because Hormone Punk is still better than Astral Voice in pretty much every single situation. The thing is that it's just easy to play. You don't need to think, you just swap back to Evelyn and you activated Astral Voice. You have 24% damage. You don't need to manage your cooldowns anymore. You just end up playing the game. You have this extra damage even outside of the stun window. Hormone Punk is not active outside of the stun window. And I do want to point out that Defiler, Wandering Hunter, Miasma Priest, all of these bosses that we've been getting in 2.0, I would say that with the exception is Fiend, all of these bosses, they have some kind of aggressive attack that it kind of asks for you to parry 3 times in a row or something. And you know, losing this defense assist also means that you're losing some extra decibels on your attacker, for example. So think about it in the future, they keep doing this kind of mechanic and force you to keep swapping between your agents. And the more you swap, the more you get daze potential on some agents, the more you generate decibels as well. So think about all of the things that you're losing just because you can't swap to this DPS, otherwise you're going to activate Hormone Punk. So for me personally, I never like playing around it. I still use Woodpecker on my GUN, just for you to have an idea. I never swap to Hormone Punk, even though it's better. The fact that I need to play around this, it doesn't make it better for me. Alright, so having another option that is really consistent, and Dialyn makes it even better because of the increased uptime on the buff, it just feels really good. So I am personally going to change some of my DPS characters to Perfect Electro because I have some perfect pieces right here. But if I had a really good Hormone Punk, if I had a really good Astral Voice, or I have some good Woodpecker, for example, I'm not going to farm Perfect Electro for every single one of my agents right now. It's pointless. And you know why? Because they can just release another disc set in the future that could even synergize it with Dialyn, you know, in the future. Just like they did with Moonlight Lullaby. If you think about Swing Jazz and Proto Punk, they were completely power crept by Moonlight Lullaby because it gives a higher damage buff for a higher duration. It's even easier for you to have access to it due to the fact that it activates on the X special. You don't need to use the chain attack on your support or the ultimate of your support just to activate the damage buff. So in the future, they could just release another kind of Perfect Electro set that activates on ultimate on your DPS and could be even better than Perfect Electro because this is a set that exists in the 1.0, you know. So I would not recommend farming a whole new disc set out of the 0 if you already have like an Astral Voice on your Evelyn or you have a Hormone Punk on your Evelyn, unless you're really looking for that small extra amount of damage, you know, with an easy of use. All right, so the TLDR, if you just decided to jump right here to the end, is that Perfect Electro is really good on most agents, all of the attackers. The damage difference is going to be really minimal compared to some of the other sets that you probably already play around, such as Hormone Punk, Woodpecker, or even Astral Voice, depending on the DPS. All right, but sometimes it's not just about the DPS itself, not about this number right here. Sometimes it's about the enemy matchup. Sometimes it's about the character that you're playing. For Hugo specifically, it's about locking you out of stun windows, making you slow down your stun windows so you can always enter the field with Hugo and make sure that he's going to activate the Hormone Punk. You see, Perfect Electro removes this, because if you can enter the field with the ultimate and you're going to activate the buff, then there you go. So it really just depends on how you approach the gameplay and how much you're willing to spend your battery in farming something new. And I'm going to leave a video down in the description. This one is from Lino. I forgot to leave a like on the video. But anyway, this is a 1 hour, 14-minute video that goes over a lot of different themes and his opinion on how Dialyn works for these. You can also see a lot of gameplay right here. We have Yuan, Idhari, Hugo, Evelyn, Yuan, and some others here at the end that Lino share his thoughts and opinions on some of these, alright? Go give it a watch in case you want to see some of your characters' gameplay in action and also what Lino thinks about the gameplay. I'm just sticking to my calculations and the easy of use for me, myself, and I'm going for Perfect Electro. I hate Hormone Punk. So anything that can replace Hormone Punk, I'm taking. All right. Anyway, that's it for today's video. Hope it could help you understand a little bit of these disc sets. And let me know in the comments down below if you're going to farm, vote for Electro, or you're just going to stick to whatever you want. Have a good day, good night, wherever you are. See you next time. Peace.